All right. I am your host, Marcella Hill, and this is the Wake Her Up podcast. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We do this every Wednesday morning at noon East Coast time. And today we are so excited. We are going to have Kate Mitchell from the UK on. She is a community member from the Wake Her Up community of over 42,000 women sharing their stories, supporting each other, bitching about what the hell is going on out here in perimenopause land and how we are finding solutions to feel good and feel alive. And it has been a wild ride to see tens of thousands of women having the exact same story of experiencing the exact same symptoms, going and talking to their doctors. And this isn't just in the US, this is across the whole world. The doctors are saying the most ridiculous things. And Kate had shared her experience of going to the doctor, getting told something totally ridiculous. And I shared her story with her permission on Instagram. And the response has been overwhelming. I mean, it has been so wild to see so many comments of women sharing like, yep, doctors don't care. They just say the most ridiculous things. And this has opened up a big conversation about who is regulating the situation and why is this happening and what are we going to do about it? So that's what we're going to be talking about today with Kate. So without further ado, let's bring on Kate. Hello. It's so good to see you. I feel like I'm like friends with everybody in the group, but then we like don't actually hang out. So when we do, I'm like, oh, there's my friend. Well, welcome. You're so far away, but so close at the same time. Well, I'm thrilled to meet you. Now, Kate, you are a photographer. I would love to hear a little bit about like who you are and what you do. It looks very exciting from Facebook land. So tell us about you.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll be 41 next week and I live in the northwest of the UK, near kind of Liverpool area. And yeah, I've been a photographer for more years than I want to care for, probably 20 odd years off and on. COVID put a big stop to photography for a while, so that was sad. But yeah, so I'm a portrait photographer, so everything portrait. I do a lot of canine and equine stuff, which I love. And then I do a lot of boudoir photography, which is just brilliant for making women feel good about themselves. So that's a big focus at the moment. But I've just got back doing school photography. So I go out to schools all over the UK and all over the world and do school portraits for big international schools. So I literally got back from Saudi Arabia yesterday. Hence the jet lag and the fact that I've troweled on the makeup just to look a little bit alive. But yeah, so I've just been doing that for 3 weeks. So that's been exhausting, but it's such good fun. So yeah, I've been doing that for a while.
An exciting life. I feel like we need to schedule some boudoir photos for so many of our members. We're just starting to feel back into our sexiness. And that's so exciting. I know that you have offered to do some photography in our group and I can't wait to be able to offer that and have women take advantage of that. So thank you so much for that. And
of course,
how exciting. Well, that's great. So a little bit like about you, like, are you married? Do you have kids?
So I am married, second time round. Always the best, the second chance. So he has two daughters. One is 15 and one is 11. So fun ages. So we met 7 years ago. We met in Dubai, actually. He is a drummer. So he was out there doing a drumming contract in the most British pub in Dubai called the Crown and Lion.
Wow.
And I was out there on a photography gig. So we walked in and it was at that point in my life where I was like, right, I'm done with men. It's all about me right now. I'm feeling good. I've been reading The Secret. So I was manifesting this shit. Oh, can I swear on here?
Yep, you're good.
Okay. So I was manifesting this shit out of life, all good things. And then he walked in and I was like, oh, bugger. That's me done. So we spent the first 8 months of our relationship long distance. I was in and out of Dubai, and then his contract got moved to Doha in Qatar. I also got a photography gig in the same area, so it was just, clearly meant to be. And then he came home and we moved straight in together and got married 2.5 years ago.
Wow, what an exciting time for you. That's so great. Oh my gosh. Okay, well, let's just jump right into this whole perimenopause situation, because what you shared with me really summed up what I see so many women commenting, and I'll wake up to hundreds of comments that are just like kind of a one-liner, and I don't get like this full conversation. And when you shared your full conversation with your doctor, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is happening to everybody. So let's back up a little bit. First, when did you start realizing, like, when did you start noticing like just discomfort? And did you immediately recognize this is like a hormonal thing, or was it just like what was your experience?
Absolutely not. So my symptoms probably started about 18 months ago. And the main ones were the heart palpitations, muscle twitches. I mean, God love my husband. We'd be sitting watching TV and it's like sitting next to Michael Flatley, like I'm trying to audition for Lord of the Dance. Legs are just flailing independently. I was like, this is not normal. And yeah, the heart palpitations massive, and then the increased anxiety. And it was more the fact I've never been an anxious person. I've done this job, I've traveled the world by myself and all this. I've never been anxious. And then all of a sudden it was like, it was my inability to deal with stressful situations that I found really weird. I was having these really visceral reactions to things. As I say, my heart was just going berserk. It was really, very, really visceral. So I was like, well, this is weird. And the palpitations started, they were like once a month, and then once a week, and then every day. So that's started.
So scary, right? Like, it's your heart, right? Like when that starts happening, I don't think most women are like, oh, well, it's just hormones, right? Like you're thinking, I'm going to die.
Absolutely. Yeah. You just catastrophize and go, well, this is it. It's been a great 40 years. So long. But yeah, so then I was like, okay. And I noticed it more when I was tired, when I'd had a drink. So my tolerance for alcohol just went, which is such a shame because wine was my favorite hobby. So that just killed everything. It's like, why couldn't I drink anymore? I'd be hungover by the time I'd finished one drink. It was just awful. And then that would send my heart throughout the night. I'd wake up during the night. My BPM would be 150. And I get these weird kind of like a vibration sensation, like those electric shocks, which I've heard a lot of your women like talk about that as well. So it was that. And then what else? Yeah. So the anxiety. So I started going to the GP. They did all the kind of regular tests. My cholesterol was suddenly high as well. And just all the other things. So it just started with, okay, there's something going on with my heart. Let's figure out what it is. The first GP that I saw, who's actually female, said, some women just have this issue with their heart. You're just one of those people. I was like, yeah, but what's the issue? Might just be, this is just how it is for you. And I kind of walked out thinking, oh, okay. I was like, then I got home, I'm like, no, this isn't normal. And then, so again, wasn't even thinking about hormones at all. And then it was probably October time last year, and I was speaking to my best friend about it. And she said, oh, have you thought that it could be perimenopause? And I had not heard that word ever. So yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Like I had never heard that word. Not ever. Until I don't even think it was until after I shared my original story and somebody commented that. Like I didn't even hear it. Like this is after I went and got hormone therapy. I didn't even hear the word perimenopause. Like
not at all. Do you know what? I love the fact that the word selfie is in the English dictionary, but perimenopause isn't.
It's not. Yep.
Yeah. So I hadn't heard it. I was like, what's that? We talked about it a little bit and then kind of forgot about it, came home, and then a few weeks later, something popped up. I think it was on TikTok. And I was like, oh, that's what my friend Karen mentioned. Let's have a little look. And I was like, oh my God, tick, 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 tick. It was that cartoon light bulb moment. I said, this is absolutely what it is. As well as the heart palpitations, the muscle twitches, the anxiety, the dry mouth, the brain fog, the shoulder pain. All of it. And it all related. And I was like, holy moly. But before this, obviously the heart palpitations was kind of priority. So I was in and out of the GP. I'd had a 24-hour heart monitor that didn't show anything. No, you're fine. They didn't show anything. You're all fine. Okay. And then, so I went back and they said, okay, well, fine. They said, we'll do an echocardiogram. I thought, brilliant. Because you just want to rule out the really bad stuff.
Yep.
So that was meant to be done. And then I got a message from the doctor to say, well, we've decided because you're 40, you don't smoke, there's no history of heart disease, we're not going to do that. We've cancelled the appointment for you. So I was like, okay, back to square one. So I went back in and said, well, this isn't good enough because I'm still feeling like I'm dying every day. So they said, okay, well, we'll do a 7-day. We'll do some more bloods. They were all normal. And we'll do a 7-day ECG. So I had the 7-day ECG.
What?
Yeah. And then
how many other women are doing that? Like, do you just think like, are they just having like, is no one stepping back? Like in that particular office that you went to, I just have to think.
Yeah.
Like, do they just have like an insane amount of 40-year-old women signed up for these 7-day things that they're finding nothing? Like, who the hell is not looking at it? Like, do they know? Because they have to. Like, I just think they have to realize they have an immense amount of 40-year-olds doing these 7-day tests that are costing a stupid amount of money, and they're not finding anything. Like, why isn't anyone been like, let's figure this out? Like, that's so weird. Yeah.
Not once was hormones or anything that never mentioned once. It didn't even, didn't come up, so it didn't cross my mind. So I think, well, these are the experts, right? I need to listen to what they're saying. And they're telling me you're fine, everything's fine, there's nothing shown on your bloods, maybe your iron levels are a little bit low and all of this. So then you get blindsided and you come away and then you find yourself feeling like you're dead inside and you're crying every day because you feel utterly shit every day. Yeah. And then thinking, no, you've got to be, like, as you said so many times, you have to be your own health advocate. You know your body better than anyone. And then when I got the results back from the 7-day ECG, and they just come through. So the NHS have an app that you can get on your phone and all of your results come through. So you can read them yourself. But it's obviously in medical jargon. It doesn't mean anything to me. I couldn't pronounce half the words. So that's when I phoned the doctor and said, can I please have a consultation for someone to go through this? And also I'd like to talk about perimenopause. And that's when I had that conversation, which has now been shared. And
Okay, let's go through this conversation that you had. So I posted about it and you had said, I'm just going to read it. You wrote, I have just had a male, and I want to say that, like, a lot of people will express like it was a male GP, but from my view of seeing millions of conversations, it literally doesn't matter. Yeah. Like the exact same conversation is coming from females and male GPs. Yeah. My GP tell me that all my symptoms sound like I'm describing everyday life, and that life is hard for women these days. You said you honestly just about fell out of your freaking chair. Yeah. Like, how is just feeling like we're going to die every day? How is that just normal life?
Yeah. It was, I just kind of sat there open mouthed, and my husband was here. So I put the call on speaker. So, because I needed someone else to hear this.
Am I hearing this right?
Yeah. It started with, so he called and I answered the phone, and this is how the conversation started. Your heart. I was like, yes, yes. That's first 2 words out of his mouth. Your heart. So I said, yes, I've just had this ECG. I've got the results. I don't know I don't understand the results. Please, can you go through it? And he was like, what, you've been having palpitations or something? And I was like, oh God, this is how this is going to go. I said, yes. I said, have you got the my file up in front of you? Have you got the results? And he said, can you answer my question first? So I took a deep breath and I said, yes, I've been having heart palpitations for 18 months. I've had these ECG. Nothing's helping it. I really want to I want these, results interpreted. Well, I read them differently to you. Well, of course you do, because you're a doctor and I'm a photographer.
Like, that's why I'm on the call.
Yeah.
Hence this phone call. My gosh.
So he was just giving me nothing. So I just said, okay. I'll tell you what I think I'm going through. I think it's perimenopause. I listed the symptoms, and that's when the first thing he said was, I think you're running away with yourself a little bit there, aren't you?
Holy shit. How is it like appropriate for a doctor to say that when you're listing your symptoms, you're saying these are my symptoms.
Yeah.
And like, how is it that they're like running away with yourself? Like, oh, that's too many. You can't like, please do not tell me what's going on with your body. Like,
yeah.
How is that okay?
Yeah. Yeah. And then that's when he said, yeah, what you're describing is everyday life. Life's tough. It's like, it's tough because of assholes like you not listening to people.
Right. I mean, where are the doctors that are like, tell me more? Tell me more.
Yeah.
Where are the doctors are like, okay, you have anxiety? Tell me more about that. Like, when do you have it? How do you have it? What does it feel like in your body? Like, is it in the morning or the night? Like, where are the doctors that are like digging for more instead of being like, whoa, hold up, you're running away with yourself. They're like, this is getting a little too extreme. Like, we wouldn't want you to be paying too much attention to your body because like, then I won't know what to do with you. Like,
Yeah, crazy. So I said, I'd like to have a conversation. I'd like some further blood work done to see what my hormone levels are doing. And I'd like to have a conversation about HRT. And he said, I'm not doing the bloods. And we'll have a conversation about menopause in 12 months' time. And I said, with all due respect, absolutely not. I said, there is no way I'm going through another 12 months after 18 months of, suffering, basically. There's absolutely no way. So he said, well, there's two choices. You can go private. So obviously we have the choice to go private, or you can get a second opinion. So I said, well, I will be getting a second opinion. I said, isn't there a female GP in the clinic that deals with women's health? And he said, you can ask the receptionist those questions. Yeah.
How is it 2024 and we're still, how is this? Like, it just boggles my mind. Like, how is this the experience? And yours is not unique. That's the joke. That's the most, like, I feel like this type of conversation should be just like on the cover of all these magazines. And it should just be like this absolute, like, this doctor is so crazy. He is destroying women's life. Nope. Because this is every single woman has had this type of experience across the world. This isn't just like American doctors. It's not just UK. This is a global scenario of just normal everyday hopping into your doctor.
Yeah.
How did we get here?
So I wrote a complaint. I never complained. I never got out of my way to it, but I wrote a 3-page complaint letter and dropped it in. And I got a response. Do you want to hear the response?
Oh my gosh! This is better than I could have planned. I did not know that this part was happening.
Nobody knows about this, but this is brand new information.
Oh, bring this on. Let's go.
Ready? So, verbatim. I recollect on the day I had a laryngitis, so apologies that communication seemed bizarre.
His laryngitis clogged his ability to help you.
Okay. And then I think on reflection, my consultation may have been unsatisfactory due to my lack of confidence as a GP prescribing HRT to younger patients.
That's it. That's the end, period.
Yeah.
What? It doesn't even make sense.
It's going up on the wall. I'll make it into a t-shirt.
I want to have like one day, I just want to have like this wake her up like building where it's just like posted, just like walls of like conversations with your doctor. Like, this is so, oh my God.
You couldn't have written it, can you? It's just crackers. So laryngitis, yeah.
Like,
Firstly,
why
why was he in work?
everywhere?
Why was he in work anyway? But yeah, that was his reason for why we couldn't have a conversation about it.
Oh my God. I don't know. Like, I feel like, how did we land in this world that we like broke this matrix open to realize that doctors are just saying the most insane things to women? And up to this point, we've all been doing these individual appointments behind a closed door.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's it. And also, like with doctors in the system, there's not like this great way of being like, you're fired, you know, to do this like public post, because they're just within the system. Like nobody really cares. They're going to get paid whether they're good or not. Like, I don't know about you, but like it never ever dawned on me when I went to a doctor. I never thought, who is like regulating what they're telling me? You know, like it never dawned on me that they could just be telling me like the most batshit crazy stuff, and nobody would know, and I wouldn't know, and I would just go home taking their advice.
Yeah, of course.
And nobody knew. But now we have this social media.
Yeah.
And women have like, thank goodness the algorithm works to like gather the collective, right? Because now there are like millions of women that are sharing their stories, and it is blowing the top off of this insanity.
Yeah.
I mean, I have seen the craziest comments. Like, I have seen a comment. Have you seen Bridgerton?
Oh, no, I haven't. I'm aware of it.
Super sexy, but it's so hot. But there is literally been a comment that a woman went to ask about her low libido, and the doctor said, well, just watch Bridgerton. I was like, how is that approved? How is that like, that can't possibly be in like a medical, you know, educational journal?
Wow.
Like, here, there's just like write it on a prescription form of like Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah. That is crazy. The comments, when you put my story out on Instagram, I just sat and read so many, and they were, so many, and just unbelievable stuff.
Seriously, I'm trying to pull up some of these comments, and I don't know why they're not showing. It's just kind of a funny, you know how Instagram can just be crap out once in a while. But I mean, there have been the most insane comments. I mean, from doctors telling women, I mean, mostly it's like, this is normal, this is the way of life, to, oh, you have a low libido? Well, you must not love your husband, to, here, just watch porn and drink some wine. The biggest one is like, take an antidepressant. Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. That was the first thing that this GP wanted to do, is just put me straight on antidepressants. And, you know, you're clearly just depressed. And I'm like, but I'm not. I'm feeling those symptoms, but I know, the little sensible part of my brain knows that I'm not, because I have a nice life and I love my husband and, money issues and whatever else. But normal, completely normal, nothing out of control. And no, you must be depressed. Let's get you on antidepressants. That's not going to fix it. It's just putting a plaster over everything that's actually going on.
It literally makes no sense. This is so. Here we are. You just got that response. What? Just a few days ago, right?
Yeah. That came through while I was away.
And so you are this example of like where a majority, millions and millions of women are sitting literally exactly where you are, where they have done these insane tests. They've had these insane conversations. A lot. And I would say women, there are a majority of these women that don't even have the freaking energy to even make the damn appointment, let alone do a 7-day test. Right. Yeah. So like, kudos to you that like you are have like,
I'm so tired.
You're like, oh my gosh, I can't even like call and make another appointment and like get in the car and, arrange my life to go to another damn appointment. So here we are, right? Like, we have all these women that have gotten all these tests done, been totally gaslit.
Yeah.
So damn frustrated.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it again. Who the hell wants to call another doctor, have another conversation, feel like they're just being told that they're crazy.
Yeah.
And this is where we are. So now we're like, now what?
Yeah.
And, I don't know a lot. I mean, I'm working with a couple of people that are trying to do kind of what we're doing. But they're focused on the UK and creating some like forums, creating the communication on like, who are we finding? But in the UK, have you found like a pod or a access to a hormone therapist, or like what's your next, like, what are we doing next? What are we going to do?
So I know. So when I came off that call and just broke down out of pure exhaustion, frustration, I was just like, I can't keep going. This is ridiculous. And I felt so belittled because of that guy. He made me just feel so crazy and so tiny. And I always think back, what if I was like suicidal? What if I was literally on the edge and he just completely gaslit me? So Jonathan, my husband, was like, nah, we know we're carrying on, we are cracking on. So I made 2 calls. I booked in a private appointment, which I actually didn't end up going through with. And I called the GP surgery back again and booked in with another GP, female. And she phoned me a couple of days later, instantly got it. She was like, yep. She said, I know exactly what you're going through. I speak to women like this all the time. These are your options. What would you like to do? These are our choices. And it was just like night and day. And I just felt this instant relief. And so she spoke about the Marina coil and things like that, which I didn't particularly want to go down that road. And then she said, let's try HRT. And we'll do further bloods, which I hadn't even asked for. She's like, let's do these bloods. Let's do this. And I love I really like the fact that the HRT these days is the BHRT, the body identical.
Yeah.
So much more natural than it was that kind of maybe our parents or grandparents had, which was what I've learned recently. It was made out of mare's urine.
Yeah. So there is currently, there's progesterone, a synthetic progesterone called Premarin, and it is derived from horse urine, which is literally in the name, like marin, like Premarin. It's from a mare.
Like
that. That's what we're putting into our bodies. It's kind of wild.
So she said, let's do a 3-month trial. We'll start on the lowest dose. And I started it last week. So I have the patches and the progesterone tablets. So we're only a week in. So it's all new.
Getting there. It's something.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that has been the craziest thing here. You think, oh, here's a problem. Oh, let's go find the solution. And you think like, oh, find this website or find this directory or find this like one right way of Googling something. And then you're like, oh, there it is. Right. And this is not that. This is a wild west of insanity. And there is this huge range of when people say HRT or hormone therapy, this massive range that's really, really hard to explain. You can't even explain it because there's HRT that's done within like this formatted system of the, regulatory things. And it's a set patch with a set amount. And then every single doctor has like a different methodology. They're sometimes afraid of different things. They'll only treat you up to like a certain level, right? Nobody wants to talk about testosterone for women at all. I mean, it's like a controlled substance here in the US for women. Like it's not even FDA approved. So a lot of doctors don't want to give testosterone to women. You can get it with a prescription, but a lot of doctors just like, they're like totally afraid of it. And then you've got progesterone. Progesterone is like all over the freaking board. You can take it synthetic, which is, going to probably be covered by insurance. And it is, again, like a set amount. Or you can get this compound progesterone, which is a compound pharmacy, which most of us have never even heard of a compound pharmacy. I didn't even know that they existed. Where they like are going to mix it for you under, and you can get it in a pill in all these different kinds of different levels. So you can get 100 milligrams, you can get 200, 300, and then you can get them in troches, which I didn't even know what a troche was, which is like a throat lozenge. And then other people are taking progesterone like a cream. Like, it's just freaking everywhere. I think the biggest thing that I've gotten out of this is the real visual of how individual our bodies are and how we have up to this point treated them like they're supposed to fit into this like perfect box, perfect list, perfect dosage. And if it doesn't work at that dosage that the FDA said like it's supposed to work, then it's not for you. And that is so far right from like the reality. And what's sad is that all of us have gotten to this point, never learning how to listen to our body, trust our body, individualize things for our body, ask questions, dig in, like disregard the dismissiveness of doctors, like say, no, you're not listening. Like, this is what I need. This is what I want to try. Never been given that verbiage. We didn't even know that that was a thing we needed to be doing. And now here we are, right? Our lives are being destroyed. We think we're dying. And now we're trying to figure out what the hell to do. So, like, I think for women that are listening to this anywhere in the US or anywhere in the world, I think it comes down to like advocating, right? You have to know that there's private practice. Private practice is going to have a much wider range of what they can do for you because they're not like working within these like regulatory like systems, right? So they are going to be able to talk about testosterone. They're going to be able to get you to like maybe some higher levels, try different things that are a little more, I don't know, some people will call them edgy, right? Like pushing the boundaries. And then if you go find a GP, if you call around enough, you know, like find a GP that is within the system and that is able to treat you, then just know that you can do that, but they're going to be within some limits. And if you get to a point where you feel like we've kind of exhausted all of those things, that they just know that there is more help, like in the private arena. Oh man, I hope that it just starts feeling like I hope like in a few weeks you're like, oh my gosh, no more heart palpitations. I'm sleeping. Like, let's do the next big adventure.
Yeah, that's the plan. And like as I said before, you have to listen to your body. If you are not sleeping and you are miserable for no reason, it's not just a woman thing or an age thing, which I've heard, you know, time and time again. Like if you know you don't feel right or well or yourself, then don't just give up because you have to just keep pushing, keep listening to yourself. And as you said, ask questions and find these forums. When I found your TikTok page randomly and another one based in the UK, and I just went down that wormhole for hours and watched every one of the videos, and I was so emotional. So I thought, oh my God, finally, and seeing all the other ladies' comments, and I'm like, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to die. This makes so much sense. And as you say, just keep trying to find that GP. I've had, and this has all come to light, I've had other experiences with GPs in the past. So I had about 12 years ago, I had some cervical cells that were turning cancerous. So I had to go and have a loop excision, which is it's just basically a metal loop with a coil that goes around that just burns away the kind. Lovely.
Oh my gosh.
I will never.
Everyone listening right now is just like,
the injection just to numb the vagina in the first place. No one wants a needle there. That was horrendous. And then I remember lying on the bed and it was happening and they were kind of watching it on the screen. And then she just turns the TV around and said, do you want to watch? No, of course I don't. I don't want to see that. So that was awful. And then a few years later, so that was all fine, touch wood, all gone, lovely.
Yeah.
A few years later, I was having some abnormal bleeding during sex, pain, all of this stuff. So I went back to the GP and explained, and I said I'd really like another smear test to make sure that the cells haven't changed. And she said, well, you're not due, because they're now every 3 years. So you're not due a smear test. And I said, yeah, I know I'm not, but look at the symptoms, look at my history. And she said, and I will always remember it, if we do a test now, they won't test it. It's literally going in the bin. And I was like, so I had to then wait another year, I think, before they'd even just give me a smear test, even despite what I've gone through in the past. And I just thought that was
But that's what I don't understand. Like, what's
Yeah.
it to them? Like, I'm asking for the test. I want to know.
Yeah. So then I had to spend all of that time thinking, well, have the cells changed again? And I always remember that. And that was kind of the start of like, women's health is not talked about, as much as it should be. And then when all of this started and then that, that response from that GP to say, I'm not educated enough on menopause or, in menopause of younger women. Like, as you said before, perimenopause can start from ages ago, from years and years back. So I always remember kind of those, and it's, syncing up, and that's why you just got to keep pushing and finding a GP, whether it's private or whether it's in the UK with the NHS, find someone that understands and listens, and because it makes a world of difference.
It does. I think, it's so interesting because I never, ever, ever would have ever expected to be in like this kind of medical world, like I would have never thought I had a place to be talking to doctors or talking about anything like really specific to like the medical industry. I think what is wild about this is before I even got into this conversation, I was feeling totally disconnected, totally off, I wasn't connecting all of the dots, and I started doing like yoga and therapy, and I was going through like addiction recovery to try to like, just get my shit together and like feel like me again. So that I could show up for my family, I could show up for my dreams and my hopes and, like be alive. And, I did this like soul awakening thing, kind of this spiritual journey, and felt like, oh, there I am. But then my body didn't want to get out of my bed. I just felt like shit. I was like berating myself. I was just like, come on, like you're listening to the podcast. You're, trying to get your ass to the gym. You're eating your 2 years of no sugar and no flour. Like, what is your freaking deal? And I think this is the thing that women need to understand is, well, I think we do understand if we just like sat for one freaking second, like we're a whole being, so you can't be talking about like spiritual awakening or whatever it is and connecting with yourself and feeling like you without talking about like the physical kind of medical space, right? Like your body has to match your soul and the other way around, because then I have other women that are like running out, getting hormone therapy, feeling like physically good, but then like don't know who they are, still dealing with trauma, like still just like, right, dragging themselves around. And that's what I love about this conversation is because I came to this space with this spiritual awakening, but then couldn't get my body out of bed. And then we're talking to women on both sides, right? Where you're like, I have this beautiful career, I have this beautiful life, like I'm ready to go. My body like can't keep up. We have to be talking about the whole picture. I have to add in, like you were telling, like your first, like, wait a minute, like women's health is not on par here. Mine was really interesting. So when I had my first baby, I broke my xiphoid process, like this little tiny cartilage bone that's like right, you can feel it. It's like a little triangle. And I broke it and it was really uncomfortable. It would like click when I was doing sit-ups. I couldn't like sleep on my side. It was like, and I remember going to a doctor and he's like, oh, that's like a normal thing that happens during childbirth. Like it'll just like go away. Like it'll just kind of heal itself. It'll be fine. 10 years later, still uncomfortable. Car accident, and it like exasperates it. So now it's like swollen. Now it's like even worse. Go to a chiropractor. He's like able to adjust it, which is super terrifying, but it helped right back in place. 5 more years go by. And I start yoga. This was just like 3 years ago. I started doing yoga, and it is getting like significantly worse. I can't lay on my stomach. I couldn't do certain things in yoga. My daughter got to a height where when she would hug me, it was like right there. And I was like, I can't even hug my daughter right now. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Certainly there's something we have to do. I couldn't find a doctor that knew anything about it. And finally, I just Googled it. And lo and behold, you could just like get it taken out. So I like found a doctor. I had to call like 5 different places. They didn't even know how to write up a like a recommendation, like a referral. They didn't even know how to write it up because you have to go to a cardiovascular surgeon. And as soon as I got the right like referral, I was in his office in 5 days. He took literally 2 minutes and looked at it. He's like, let's get that out. Scheduled me for 5 a.m. the next day.
Wow.
And within a 20-minute surgery was out. It was out. Like, it just took it out. And I can like hug people now. I can sleep on my right side. I can breathe a whole breath. I can go to yoga. And I was like, this is insane.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just shows, isn't it, pushing for that right person and also doing your own research.
Yeah.
You know, that is huge.
I think, you know, we have to realize, like, if our car was breaking down, if our home was breaking down, if our microwave was like going, you know, awry, we'd like call whoever we needed to fix a freaking microwave, you know, until it got fixed. And if someone came and jacked our fridge or dishwasher, we'd be like, absolutely not. Get the right person here. We'd like get on the phone and, you know, have a whole bitch fest about like, you messed up my freaking dishwasher. But like, we literally live in our bodies and we don't know how to do that for ourselves. And I think it's time that we realize, like, this is our body. We live in it. We need it to work. Like, oh man, you know, I mean, think about how mad you are when they get like your order wrong at Starbucks or something. Like, absolutely not. You're like, we need to apply our words to be able to advocate for our own bodies.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm so glad that you're in this. This is such an awesome conversation that I feel like every woman should be having right now. I mean, if you're listening to this and you're like, holy crap, like that's me, or that's my friend, or you haven't been to the doctor for a hot minute and you're about to go to the doctor, just be prepared. Be prepared. This is what's coming. And you should come hang out in the Wake Her Up Facebook groups, because then you'll know, like, you're not crazy. You'll have words. You'll be empowered. You'll be able to speak up and demand help. Yeah. And right now, you know, women in this group have been amazing. They're coming together. They're sharing who they're finding. You know, I mean, I'd love to know, like, who your GP is so we can, you know, give everyone the phone number to call that girl. And I think that's what's amazing. You know, there isn't a fix right now. There's not this awesome solution. It is women sharing what they're finding. And that has created this level of trust where we can go and be like, okay, Kate went to that doctor. That's what that doctor said. Now another woman could go and be like, okay, I talked to Kate from this Facebook group. She's doing, so I'm going to need that. It gives us something, somewhere to start. And that is what we're going to need to do. Yeah,
definitely. And keep talking about it and don't give up. And that's why your community is just incredible, because someone will say, that's me. And then you can have that conversation. It opens up that dialogue. It's huge. And just keep advocating, because you know yourself better than anyone else. It's so important.
So I love asking this question to kind of wrap it up.
Okay.
So what will life be like for Kate when you feel really awake and alive? What will be different? What will you do with that?
I'm so excited. I want to travel more with work and with, you know, Jonathan and the girls, and just do more and have more energy, especially when we've got the kids, and to do more things. I am really focused on my business now. So I was working in a veterinary surgery for 3 years. That didn't help the anxiety. And but now I'm very much kind of focused on me and my family. I'm so lucky. I've got such a great support system around me with friends and family. So I just want to show up a bit more and just be me and be the person that I used to be a few years ago, and just feel more alive. So hopefully in 5 years or whenever I get, this is the start of such a long journey, I think, for me. And as you said before, it's different for everyone. But I'm willing to now try all the different things until I feel myself again. So I hope in a little while that my business will be booming and I'll have the energy to do it, And yeah, just feel I'll be able to sleep. That'd be really nice.
I just want a nap.
To sleep all the way through for one night. That's the dream.
It's amazing. I didn't even know that was a thing. I literally feel like an idiot even saying it. Like, I did not know that you could just, like, as an adult, you could go to bed and then wake up in the morning. I didn't know that was even.
Yeah, not there yet. Definitely not there.
Oh my gosh, let's get you there. I think one thing that's exciting, we're almost the same age. I'm 43. You said you're 41?
Next week, yeah.
Oh, well, happy birthday. But I think what's crazy is when you start realizing, wait, I'm going to be able to feel good. I'm going to be able to move. I'm going to be able to walk and run and use my brain. And then you start realizing, like, I have 40 more years at least. Like, I could have 40 more years. And that's a whole lifetime. And like, I can dream again. I can hope again. Like, I was telling my husband, I said, we have enough time that we could do like everything. We could live on a ranch with cows for 5 years. We could go live in the Bahamas for 5 years. We could have like all these different lives.
Yeah.
Like, what an incredible gift to be able to find a way to feel like alive and good. And it gives you this crazy hope and all these new dreams. It's a whole different way of living.
Yeah. I'm excited.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. We are going to create an event kind of page for women within the Wake Her Up community for the UK women to come together, hang out, and get some boudoir photos.
Yeah.
I might need to come out there and hang out with you guys. That sounds so fun.
Yeah. So we've talked about it a little bit, but I would really like to offer like women in the UK, especially if they're anywhere near me in the Northwest, but wherever, to come, and we will do some free portrait photography, boudoir with your not boudoir with your dog shoot or boudoir.
That could be interesting.
I mean, sure, whatever. No judgment. But yeah, and just to feel gorgeous again. Like, I just did a shoot when I was in Saudi. One of the girls was like, no, I don't want to. I don't feel good about myself now. And I said, let's just do it. If you don't like the pictures, fine. And she loved it. And I thought, right, I'm definitely doing it. So we'll make the event and we can put it out there. But yeah.
Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to just give you a big hug and see what life is like when you feel really back to you. And just thank you so much for sharing your story. And if you hear any more back from that doctor, I want to hear about it, because that's crazy.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. If you need any more information, please go to wakeherup.co. You can also join the Facebook group at Wake Her Up on Facebook. And thank you so much, Kate, for being here.
Of course, thank you. Thank you for creating this space for us all. I speak on behalf of 42,000 people when I say thank you.
It's like overwhelming. It's so many people.